moment ago, you guys, or a few moments ago, you guys were having a challenge with what happens here at the end of his head. And you started to puzzle it out,
Yeah.
right? Between your memory and his insight and somebody else's comment in the room, I think, right?
Yeah.
And then you checked with me and I said, yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So after wrestling with it for 5 minutes, let's say, not getting it right, not maybe knowing there's a problem, you had the problem pointed out, and you guys puzzled it out through wit and wisdom and memory and the help of other people in the room. Got the answer, and then you stated it to me to make sure I would affirm it, and I said and no sooner did I say then you said, and then he da 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 da, and then on to another question, and I said that doesn't set the cement, right? You set the cement, you stir it and watch for bubbles, and you give it patience, and then the electricians show up or whatever comes next, the framers or whatever the metaphor is, right? Yeah, and so that and thenitis doesn't actually allow us to cook in and cure when we get the right answer. So the amount of time you would have spent on the right answer would have been less than having done it wrong for, let's say, 5 minutes. And then you did get it right, and then you went to and then, because you have an excitability about the future, about next, about other, which means you don't really spend time here finishing the cement and letting it cure and to beat that metaphor to death, right? So what we want to do is recognize that when we do get a thing right, we can finally practice it.
Before going on.
All the other stuff is practicing towards having a practice of it. And often that's what happens. You do it a whole bunch wrong or less than perfectly or without some detail, without some power or understanding of the breath or some detail. That's fine. And when you get it, if you have and thenitis, then you've spent this remarkably small sliver of time actually doing it right. So when you go back to check your memory, that's a very small little memory, right? That's one silver minnow in a moonless sea, That's a really tough thing to get. So what you want to recognize is, oh, I can do it properly now. Or at least the next level of more proper, because we build on things. And then say, got it, let's do it a few times. Let's check our notes, let me feel it, let me, counter it or, feel it, get into it a few times. And then you'll naturally get to and next. And then sure, ask or puzzle it out or check your notes and all that kind of stuff. But if you spend that remarkably ephemeral amount of time having done it right, it really ultimately is not likely to count for much.
Right. So we can't remember it later.
Well, this happens all the time with excitable students. Oh, I got it. Now that I got them down, how do I choke? No, just now you know how to get them down. Now you get to finally practice it. So knock it out. And it might not be in class time, where that's unreasonable. Okay, do it 10,000 times before you ask me another question. That's maybe a little unreasonable. But put a little time into it. Work it. Feel both people do it on the left side. Check your notes. Ask another little broad question about that thing. To attain some breadth about the one thing, as opposed to what follows C, even though it's D. Let's just get to know C. Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Okay. So and thenitis is
That's why
real challenge.
That's why you say teach the basic part of the technique first, and not have them go to the end.
Yeah, I can tell you that I can be more patient than people can be headstrong and eager. So you might as well just get with that program.